Greetings, travelers. Video games suck. They haven't been good, ever. Or have they? At least when you look at what AAA is doing, you start to feel like there is nothing new to do with the medium. Oh look, we made another ultra-sized open-world video game with souped-up graphics that will require you to buy the latest GPU, which is very easy to obtain, only for your computer to turn into an even bigger space heater than what you have currently. It's 110 degrees outside where I live, for fuck's sakes. Don't look at that electric bill either. Yeah, E3 is a big waste of time for everybody involved. That's why it was great when it was cancelled. Only for corporations to just put a bunch of pre-recorded announcements together around the same time anyways. Oh yippee, it's E3 with no chance of live fuck-ups that used to occasionally give me a half-chub. Although I'm surprised when I hear that other people are surprised that all corporations have left are failed attempts at trying to relate to the young people these days. Hey there, kiddo, you like memes and energy drinks, right? Please, I'd rather have my father call Terraria Terraforma for the 100th time with a smug smile on his face than look at whatever the hell this is. Well, it's not like they have anything else to present. Have you seen the games? Very inspiring. I like when I hear that people are burned out on AAA gaming. Finally, makes me feel like I was ahead of the curve and a trendsetter. I've felt that way since 2015 and 2014, although I personally have a hard time judging the general state of the video game industry. Usually when I feel like gaming is in a rut, it coincides with me being in the middle of some of the worst shit in my personal life. Is it just another depressive episode that makes my hobby feel like a single white sheet of paper? Or are the games actually just in a horrible state? That theory was pretty cool to entertain until the year Persona 5 came out and I was in the middle of the unhappy times. Fuck you, theory of computation. And that game was still fun as hell. Clearly, it's not just being in a bad mood that contributes to my overall assessment of the gaming industry. What I truly hate is this year-to-year shit anyways, comparing every single year to the prior one and saying, oh, what good games came out this year, as if there's some kind of magical time gate that dictates whether or not you get to hang out with the cool kids. Most people can't even cram in all the games that came out every year into their financial plan, let alone they can't cram it into their time plan, also known as a schedule. I should simply starve myself and live outside so that I have a chance to afford the next $60 to $70 game on release. It's just the most reasonable thing to do at the time. You could wait around until other guinea pigs try out things and find the bestest games and then buy those, but that doesn't have the same impact as finding something on your own. Video games take fucking years to put together of blood, sweat, and underpaying employees and forcing them to work under horrible conditions. With so much time and exploitation of labor going into each production, you can't possibly expect every year to have big hitters. It is completely unreasonable. There's only so many employees they can exploit. My biggest disappointment in AAA though at this point is exactly what I expected, and I am still disappointed. Just like my parents when they look at my current career choice. Big gaming studios are just pushing the exact same games with little to no dramatic changes to the formula, refusing to try and push the medium forward. That way they can make something that's safe and simple and market the shit out of it. Please buy Skyrim, but in space, it's gonna be revolutionarily samey. These big conglomerates that are supposed to have all the financial collateral in the world to be able to take risks are the most risk-adverse portion of the entire industry. Back in the day, they would be more willing to do some stupid shit and see if it works in order to get an edge over their competitors. Now, meh. Just make the thing that worked last time. And if you can't come up with something good, just buy the studios that did do something good and force them to make the same game again, but without any motivation this time around. Indie developers are more willing to make something that sounds stupid. Remember when Minecraft first came out? Did you try to explain that to one of your friends or family, excitedly going, you punch blocks and build things. Think Lego, but Java programming. And most people looked at you like you were speaking JavaScript. Shit graphics and runs on an internet browser, and it was the greatest invention in gaming since the Nintendo Entertainment System. AAA isn't going to make some brand new concepts, but despite what I just told you, most indie developers aren't going to either. If they want their game to get any sort of meaningful traction early in its development, the game already has to be based on something that exists. How else do you think we ended up with our long list of Souls-like, Metroidvania, roguelike, visual novel, dating sim, crafting, puzzle, survival, social deduction, zombie, MMO, immersive sim, platforming, battle royale, meta, Earthbound-like indie games? There has been some pushback with lead developers like Hideo Kojima saying that they're going to innovate. Death Stranding is a stupid and pretentious video game, but at least he tried something stupid again. It feels like he's shouting into the void to try to get something so desperately different from the status quo, only to realize that it's not unique at all. Maybe Kojima should have just started an emo band instead. Has any company tried a new and interesting gimmick recently? Ah, fuck. VR. Yeah, VR is absolutely going to be the next big thing. I'm sure it's very fun for anything outside of Beat Saber and Ugandan Knuckle Simulator. Tell me about it when I don't put a headset on and lose whatever pitiful contents remain in my digestive system. I won't deny that it's possible for VR to be a big hit in the future, but that's about as inspiring as me saying that 3D TVs could be the next big thing and it's currently 2010. Despite all of my sarcasm, I do think VR is pretty cool for the people who don't get motion sick, but thankfully not Facebook is going to run the technology into the ground anyways. Sure, there has been a lot of lack of original ideas within the video game industry, but that doesn't seem like the central cause for my lack of passion in the hobby. I love Celeste, which is an incredibly refined 2D platformer, and I love Persona 5, which isn't anything new since Persona 3. Obviously, when the concept was completely fresh to me, I got the raw dopamine hits from Persona 3, but Persona 5 is that gameplay loop refined into something special. Now when I go back, it makes the previous games feel much worse only because they made the newer games so much better. So I obviously like well-refined, unoriginal concepts, but the game also doesn't have to be good for me to have fun. I love bad video games too. I remember when I played Purgatory 2 on stream with its horrible writing and bad gameplay. It was immature garbage and a complete waste of time, but I loved every minute of it. I could tell that the person leading the project cared about it, and to me, that's what matters most in gaming. Making something that is inspired. Don't just fall back into the loop of what works. Fall back into the loop of what makes you passionate. Maybe that's how Supergiant manages to keep making bangers. You just need soul, not just Dark Soul. It's the mid-tier games that all fall flat and leave zero impression on me. Now let's get out there and play some stupid fucking video games.